The Australian outback is unforgiving. The only real proving ground for off-road gear in Australia is getting out there and tackling the toughest real-world conditions without limits. This is the Cruisemaster Rat Run, and this year we go beyond breaking point.
Morning guys, today is day one of the 2022 Rat Run. The engineers are just about caffeinated enough to get on the road, and we're going to be heading off to Cunnamulla today. So heading up the range over Toowoomba, keen to see how the new Ram goes with the 2.8 trailer behind it. I think it's going to blaze up there. So after Cunnamulla tomorrow night we're heading to Cameron's Corner, then we're down into the Flinders Ranges, behind the desert. We're going to do Finke Gorge National Park, and then into Alice. Then we're heading home via the Sandover Highway via Birdsville. So it's going to be a big trip. I've estimated about 6,500 kilometres. We've got 2 weeks to do it, so we better hit the road.
Full, is it? Sure is. That is full. Oh, this one's about to lose its wood.
Yeah, this one's mostly lost its wood. All right, we're halfway between St George and Cunnamulla, and we just stopped to pick up the drone, and the guys following the Ram saw that the water tanks are coming a bit loose in the trailer. So they're held in with these saddles that push it up against the underside of the deck on the chassis. So just getting underneath there and going to do them up a bit to make sure they don't move much further. Obviously we don't want those to fall out as we go. So just some last minute fixes. Hopefully it'll all be good when we hit the dirt. We had a really good run today. We've managed to get into Cunnamulla whilst it's still light. So now we're going to hook in, get the swag set up, Then we're going to head into town, grab a feed at the pub, and then come back and do some checks on the trailers. So they've done about 1,000 kilometres now. So we need to go over the suspension bolts, check the wheel bearings and the brake adjustment to make sure everything's good. Tomorrow we're going to hit the dirt. So we want to make sure everything's squared away before we get to that point. Tomorrow we're going to Cameron's Corner. So can't wait to get there and have a beer tomorrow night.
There's a light from a million suns burning through your blood. Feel the rivers run, a window to the hope and wild is true. It's all for you.
Good morning everybody. When we got back to the campsite last night, it was a little bit late, so we only did the checks and bolt torques that we could do whilst being quite quiet. So we thought this morning we'll find a nice clean bit of ground in town. We've got some coffees ordered and some breakfast going, so whilst we're doing that, we're going to get underneath, jack the wheels up and do a quick bearing check. Now we've done 1,000 kilometres. We're also going to do our wheel nuts now as well. From here we're going to head out to Tibooburra, top up with fuel and then head over to Cameron's Corner, ready for a great night in the pub over there.
Let it take your heart away. You gotta open up your eyes. You gotta open up and take a breath and let the light out. Let it take your heart
You might wonder why we're only towing single axles this year, particularly when we got such a big tow vehicle in the Ram. What we've found out over the years is with the big single axles, the 2.8 tonnes that we make, they create the highest load on the axle of any of our suspension range. So even our 4.5 tonne variants, they only get a couple of tonnes per axle, whereas on these you get about 2.5 tonnes. So when we're looking at durability, strength of the suspension arm, damping performance, that type of bearings, that type of thing, a single axle really beats everything up the most. So that's why we test single axles on the Rat Run. Want to pass me the camera? We need to be quick because I don't like that DPF sitting in that grass.
Okay, well, do you want to?
So, well, no, I don't think it's going to move. I think we're going to have to, we'll do a snatch off the back of the trailer. Actually, I can just go on the right side of that. That one.
You on channel, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm good. Take up some tension.
So you just want to do just a pull, not a snatch?
Yeah, just take it up first and then see what happens.
Yeah, that's the slack.
Yeah, that's it. Pull. Yeah, that's good. Okay. You stop and I'll put the tension off. Yeah, that's good. So what just happened then, Andrew?
Well, you know, somebody asked me to pull over and get a drone up.
And the edge was a bit soft, you could say.
Well, I overestimated the vehicle I was in. Overestimated my driving skill.
Yeah, I don't think much would have got out of that, hey? It caked up the tyres, something fierce. But luckily we had the mighty BT50 and the Max Trax recovery gear and got us unstuck quite quickly, which was good because it happened that not only was it boggy, but it was full of spin effects. So it wasn't the best place to be. But we're out now and going again. So hot tip for those traveling out here, before you pull over, make sure that where you're going to stop, you're going to be able to get started again.
What'd you say?
Apparently closed on Sunday. So, what's next? What's your range?
Total 450.
How much do you have left? 20. 120. Oh, 120.
Is there no fuel here?
They closed.
Well, they're closed.
If we drop speed, we can.
We dropped the trailer, we can go further.
127 kilometres.
Oh yeah, we practiced our range anxiety already, so you're gonna
How many
finish
kilometres?
127.
We could probably do it better if we didn't have to coach out there.
If you get stuck, we can only be 7K out. We can run and get fuel.
Doors when we pulled up.
It's got a mechanical pump on it, doesn't it, to prime it. I think we've done this before.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
So we were running the gauntlet. We were hoping to fill up at Yulo, except their servo isn't open on a Sunday. So we thought we'd have just enough range in the BT50 to get to Thargomindah, but we got to, 6.8 kilometres away, and it's just stopped. So it had a cough, and then they pulled over and the engine died. So we're gonna hightail it into Thargo, fill the ram up, grab a jerry can's worth of fuel, and go back, and we'll pick the BT50 up and get them fully filled up so we can carry on. So at least it wasn't too far away from Thargomindah when it went empty.
A little buzz shakes the week right off of me. Feeling up on the feeling of the heat, and we don't run. Just let it come naturally. Yeah, we don't run, no, we don't run, no. Yeah, we're gonna ride this wave until it breaks. We're gonna drive all day. We're gonna ride this wave until it breaks. All I know, yeah, all I know.
It's only a small amount. Yeah, we've been idle for about a second after we pulled up.
Is it a pump prime?
Yeah.
One of these ones?
Are you familiar with this device?
Oh, one of those, yeah.
I wonder if it's got an intake pump as well.
Was this the most expensive piece of
Hope we don't get an airlock in the fuel filter, the second one. Oh, hang on. That's feeling better. There you go. Like that. Easy as.
Accept defeat. Yeah, we don't hide, no. Just find the light in honesty. 'Cause I've never been good at telling stories. Yeah.